Member for Hasluck.
I think like every morning the Liberal or the National parties, they must get together and they ask one another whether they've thought of any new policies yet. And when the other says no,
nothing.
So then they agree to just keep on talking about the cost of living, as if no one in the community realises that it was their poor stewardship of the economy that helped lead us into the situation that we're in now. The cost of living isn't just a convenient place for the Coalition to hide from real policy development. Let me start by first acknowledging just how tough it is for many people in this current climate. I am regularly contacted by constituents in my electorate of Hasluck, letting me know about the tough decisions that they are having to make as they feel the pinch and the cost of living pressures. Labor understands, and it is our core values to address inequality in our systems and address the needs of our nation's most vulnerable. It is a Labor government that will and has been since last May working to make life better for every Australian, which is why the philosophy of obstruction at all costs from those on the other side is an affront. Honestly, it's galling. Having the Coalition bleat endlessly about the government's response to cost-of-living pressures baffles the mind. It is like the "Who Killed Hannibal" meme. The Coalition drive a double truck right through the guts of the economy, jump out of the driver's seat and say, why would Labor do this? Once again, while those opposite continue to try to score cheap and nasty political points, the adults in this room have been busy getting on with the job of implementing policies to ease the cost of living. For relief in the short term, the Albanese Labor government has introduced cheaper medicines. From the 1st of January this year, prescriptions on the PBS have been capped at $30, the first reduction in prescription costs in the scheme's history. Already in my electorate of Hasluck, people have saved $278,264.49 in the very first 74 days of this policy being in place. It's extraordinary. And from July 1 this year, Labor's cheaper childcare will assist cost of living for 1.2 million Australian families. That's more than 5,500 families in the seat of Hasluck alone. We're also supporting people to study, to get the qualifications that they need to join a jobs market very keen to have new workers. 180,000 fee-free TAFE places are now available. And I've been to my local North Metro TAFE campus in Midland, alongside the Minister for Skills and Training, and we've seen together those fee-free TAFE places filled. Students studying early childhood education, for example, a massively important career. They told us that they were able to start studying for a meaningful career because there was no charge. And look at wages. What was the very first thing this government did under Prime Minister Albanese's Labor leadership? We backed up our word from the hustings and wrote a letter to the Fair Work Commission supporting the case for an increase to the minimum wage and a range of modern awards. Absolutely is what the soon-to-be Prime Minister said when asked if he would back a pay rise to the nation's lowest paid workers. And the Commission, they took on board the government's submission and provided some relief via increased wages. Albeit modest, this was still a significant rise relative to the wage stagnation of the previous decade. If we need further examples of the practical help that this government is providing to ease cost of living, we can look no further than housing. Some relief is immediate, and some relief requires the vision of a government with principles and a team of high-quality ministers. Policies specifically designed to make housing more affordable, both through financial assistance, government guarantees and through the addition of more housing stock. And we will facilitate the construction of thousands of new homes each year, putting downward pressure on mortgages and rents in the process. So if I'm getting correspondence from my constituents who are finding the cost of living pressures challenging, then I know that those opposite are also getting the same types of letters, emails and phone calls. So how do members from a party that doggedly choose to vote against cost of living measures introduced to this parliament look their constituents in the whites of their eyes and tell them that they have their best interests at heart? Until those opposite are willing to be constructed in the projects of easing the burdens of cost of living pressures, they could do worse than ceasing to end the endless stone throwing from within their glass houses. These types of practical policy responses that we're introducing are designed and implemented by a government alert to the challenges that we are all facing. and it's exactly the type of behaviour voters expect, the type of behaviour voters hope for when a responsible government came into charge.